Presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton is waging an all-out war on guns and gun owners. She has called the NRA her #1 enemy, compared the organization to communists and Iranians, and promises to make gun control a central part of her bid for the White House, including using Australian-style gun control as the model to adopt here in the U.S.
The Australian government, as part of trying to clamp down on the availability of automatic weapons, offered a good price for buying hundreds of thousands of guns. They believed, and I think the evidence supports them, that by offering to buy back those guns, they were able to, curtail the supply and to set a different standard for gun purchases in the future. So I think that's worth considering.
I was a bit horrified by that. I don't think Australia is a model for the United States on gun control at all.
Senator David Leyonhjelm, the strongest voice for gun owners in Australia's parliament, and a target shooter himself, told me Australia's mandatory confiscation has not kept guns out of the hands of criminals, and it won't work in America either.
It made no difference to firearms violence, to gun violence, violence overall. In fact, we had a blip up in general violence after the gun bans. A massive so-called buyback. It was a confiscation with compensation program. Semi-automatic rifles and shotguns and pump-action shotguns were essentially prohibited. It also removed the right to own a gun in any state in Australia for self-defence. We're a nation of victims. You cannot own a gun for self-defence. Doesn't matter what the circumstances, doesn't matter how big the threat, you cannot defend yourself. The criminals still have plenty of guns. There's no shortage of guns. There's a very vigorous black market for guns. So it's really not made the slightest bit of difference. If you want a gun, you can get one. Look at what Australia did. It's a defenceless country these days. I'm absolutely in awe of the success of the NRA at holding back the tide, and it never gives an inch. We love the NRA here in Australia amongst us gunners, and in fact we rely on you guys to also help us hold the line in Australia. It's not something that any country should contemplate, is completely disarming their population.
Gun owners in Australia told me back in 1998 when I was there that the unforgettable images of their guns confiscated by the government should be a wake-up call to all of us to never surrender our rights, because once they're gone, you'll never get them back.